Hello, my first time doing a presentation, and I wanted to focus particularly on the genre of what one of my favorite channels, UAP channel, does as far as old building architecture and how implausible it was to develop such a building back in the 1900s and the 1900 1800s. For instance, I live in a city called Spokane, Washington, in the United States, and um, I particularly originally didn't think anything of these architecture videos, but looking at the timeline and the history and the population, it is very strange to me that such buildings were built within a year, you know, and by a population of such a small number of people. For instance, this is one of the first high schools in Spokane called Spokane High originally. Um, to give you a small little history about Spokane, let me kind of just share this article that I have here. And let me here. So Spokane history, founded in 1873 by James Nettle Glover, Spokane was the first small settlement known as Spokane Falls. So Spokane Falls. So it dropped the E in 1883. But I wanted to look at the architecture. So Spokane began settlement with a mere handful of people in 1873. By 1889, Spokane had nearly 20,000 people. So from one person, and what they did is, I don't believe they accounted for Native Americans in this population because they, in 1880 in Spokane, or 1881, they created the Spokane Reservation, Indian Reservation, and they moved all the Indians. So this is just the white population. So, and I believe this is what it's counted as. So to give to make it put it in perspective. So in 1870, the first school was opened by Spokane Gary, which was an Indian. So I believe that he was an Indian and Native American, and he taught Native Americans. In 1875, that's when the first white school opened, and a white teacher started teaching. So they built the first permanent building, which was a wood building, just like a um, two-room building, was built in 1878. So in 18, so the two-room building was closed in 1883. In 1881, they had 350 residents total. They only had 315 people in 1881. So in 1889, there was a Spokane fire. It destroyed 32 blocks downtown. And in 1889, there was a population of 20,000 people. In 1890, there was a report by President of Board of Education that Spokane needed a bigger school. That's when the report was. In 1891, the next year, this building was erected. The report came out in 1890. In 1891, this colossal building was created. So, and mind you, population of 20,000 people built a structure this huge with, and then you can see the two little people right down there. That's how monstrous this building is. It's a massive building with a huge clock tower, very massive. This is Chief Gary, Spokane Gary. So this is the North Central. So unfortunately, in and the school cost 110,000. Finished architect was Charlie Helmley. Can't find many information about him, but he came from a family of many different architects. But he was like the son of a brother of another bigger architect. But this Charles is very unknown. I can't find much information about him. Unfortunately, the school, this huge school, like they normally do, they burn down. A brick structure such as this burnt down in 1909. So in operation for, almost 20 years. Well, yeah, almost 20 years, and gets burnt down, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Yes, your school is gone. So to replace it, they replaced it with another school. Oh, and at the same time in 1890, 1909, they built another school, North Central, which is another massive school, which is about 10 blocks away from the South Central, which was the Spokane High School. So this is the second high school, North Central High School, built in 19. So after the school burnt down in 1912, this is the school that they rebuilt. To me, it kind of looks similar to this other school. And I think maybe they just changed a bunch of things, and or this could have been a completely different school, but it's also a beautiful school, um, considering. But yeah, it's nothing compared to the original Spokane High School. This thing is a massive school. Unfortunately, like all these at this time, these schools tend to burn down. And yeah, so population of 20,000. Oh yeah, first graduation, 7 people graduated. Yeah, 7 students graduated this massive school. Only 7 graduates. It's nice, yeah. So that kind of tells you that, yeah, 1891, first graduate, 7 students out of a population of 20,000. What do you expect? It's a high school, seven graduates, so 7 seniors. I guess that's one of them, or that's 2 of them right there, and yeah, that's a quite a big school for 7 seniors, in my opinion. Um, oh yeah, there's more great information. Around that same time, Spokane was in a architectural boom. Many different buildings, such as the steam plant, um, Davenport Hotel, um, many other buildings were created. I guess I should say erected, not created. So, for instance, here are some of the architects of Spokane. Let's do Albert Held. Albert Held was born, blah, blah, blah. Let's see some of the buildings he created. Oh, here, okay, so the Globe was created in, how come it doesn't say it here? So, okay, so some of the buildings, including the Holly Mason building, St. Luke's Hospital, Globe, and San Marco Apartments, broad spoken classic architecture, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, this is around the same time. It doesn't say the dates on this particular person, but it's 1909 time. So, this is the massive, this is one architect creating all these masterpieces. That's another thing I've noticed about these architects. They just get one or two, a few architects. They say, oh yeah, these are the buildings that you'll create. So this guy, Archibald Riggs, created some big buildings. So Salvation Army building 1921, plausible it was already 1920s. There's some other massive Masonic Temple edition. Okay, I mean, the guy that created the Masonic Temple, that is interesting. Here's a architect Hermes Plesway. So buildings bump block Carlisle 1890. 1890, 20,000 people. Think about it. 1890. Look at this Fernwell building. Why? 20,000 population. Who built them? Why were they built? Such massive structures. Now we're led to believe that back in the Wild West days, they had wooden planks, or if this is a city that's just booming, you wouldn't see these massive brick structures. Of a small little population is growing. I give you that. In a, and it's funny if you look at the Spokane population, which is another thing I can't understand. It just doesn't make sense to me. So in 1910, population is 104. Okay, so yeah, there's World War I around that time. Yeah, and then it only grows by what, 30 people, if that. Yeah, 30 people by in 10 years. So in 10 years, population just steady. Now, mind you, the population in 1890 was 20,000 people. Let me double check. 1890, blah, blah, blah. 1909, 100,000. So it's as if, yeah, 1889, population 20,000. In 1889, 20,000. It looks like they needed to move, from what I can tell, every year they doubled the population. It was just a bunch of people just blew into this area. Every day they had new migrations, and then they stopped at 100,000. 100,000. They stopped in 1909. They stopped receiving all the big population, and that's kind of, they stopped. And I'm guessing looks like more of a natural progression in population. 1,004, 1910, 1920, 1,000, 104,000, 1930, 115,000. Yeah, this is more plausible as a population growth. Population in 2021 is 229,000. Crazy. So it just seems to me people from the west, from the east, came to the west, and the whole idea was, oh yeah, it was a gold rush. There was, yeah, gold. Not much gold really was in this area, but who am I to tell? I'm not really a prospector. So let's look at these other architects. This Willis Ritchie, I wanted to talk about him. He's the one that is credited to building the Spokane courthouse. So designed the Spokane County Courthouse, which is a crazy architectural. I mean, it looks it looks just like the school, but for him, for Ritchie, we can actually do a Google search. It's a crazy design. And he built also, yeah, Ritchie, he built many other around the same time. So let's see, the courthouse, designed a courthouse, he was selected in the competition. And yeah, architectural competition always happens. 1893. Who needs a 20,000 people? Okay, let's say if it doubled, 40,000, 45,000 people, right? Who in their right mind needs a courthouse, massive courthouse such as this? It's insane. It's a beautiful building, and how long did it take to build this beautiful building? Ritchie designed and selected in 1895. Blah blah. His design idea were based on castles. Oh, of course, yep. 16th century Renaissance. After heated debate, planner chose a site for a new courthouse on the side wall, hoping the United North and okay, when was the when was it built? 1895 was that? Was it built in 1895? Is that what I'm hearing? No way. 1895. Is that what I'm thinking here? No, sorry. That's not. No, I don't think it was. So the Ritchie design were selected in 1895. Let's look back here. Oh, no, sorry. 1894 it was built. Yeah, sorry about that. It was the design was approved, in 18, what is it? 1895. Ritchie's design were selected. Oh, they were selected in 1895 and it was magically erected a year before. This is the kind of stuff I've been finding. It doesn't make any sense what's going on. Dates are messed up. Spokane County Courthouse is one of the more prominent features in Spokane Sky. Yeah, it's a massive building, beautiful. It was built during an 1894 through 1895. A year. It took a year to build this. A freaking year. You gotta be kidding me. This, this. I mean, it's a freaking castle. A castle. A year? A year? Oh yeah, my daughter is getting a new middle school built, you know. Oh yeah, let's remember 1895. That's horse and buggy year. That's horse and buggy, right? And this is what I think, yeah, this is a castle in the middle of shacks, right? This is a kind of a they could have built something like, this big with like right next door to it, but this castle, you yeah, doesn't make sense. And it's weird. It's always this kind of yellow buildings. They always municipal buildings. They always use up these kind of a style. It it's mind blowing, mind blowing. What else did he build? Let's see. County Ritchie designed the courthouse. Blah blah blah. Okay, what else did he do? He did a few others. And Chateau 16th Renaissance, Chateau de Lac Brabram, whatever that is. Anyway, Shadle Q's house. He also designed this house. Yeah, okay. He could have designed that, sure. Yeah, craziness. Craziness. What? I thought he was designed something else. Relocated to move to Spokane, from Seattle to Spokane, Pacific Northwest, including the King County Courthouse. Yeah, so this is the main thing. And yeah, it's crazy. He built just, yeah. And the crazy thing is these guys, they not just one big building, they built a bunch. Look, 1908, 1909, William Wallace Hyslop, 1905. Okay. Who built these houses? Horse and buggy. Huge. I'm talking about these brick masonry houses. Who built them? It's like, did the whole town gather? The whole town must have gathered and just, said, oh, we're going to build these houses, you know, just, yeah, we're just going to build them in these huge, masonry buildings, structures. We're just going to, build them up for the locals. This is interesting. In 1917, he built that huge, massive one. These ones are more predictable. Here you go. The Masonic Temple, 1905. Look at that. No, that's not. We're not in Rome. We're in Spokane, Washington. Mason Temple. Yeah, I'm not. Freemasonry, it's free. Come and grab it. Freemasonry. Oh yeah. Lewis and Clark High School. That's the new building. That's the replacement for Spokane High. I personally think they must have just taken that other building apart and put that one together. Oh yeah, here's Spokane for you. This is in this is when they first, this is how the streets look like. This is when the arrival. You arrive 1900s, everything's already there. No shacks. Nope, no shacks. Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, one more comment. So in 1909, population 100,000, and that lasted until 1920 when it started growing a little bit more. So 100,000 people from 1909 when the Spokane, that's when they pretty much stopped bringing people in. 1909 was when when 1891 when the first graduates in Spokane High graduated. And then they had the same in 1909, they built this North Central High School. 100,000 people. It's mind blowing. Anyway, this is my first video. I hope you guys found it interesting. Just doing some research. Just this history doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't make sense. I'm just one person in Spokane, and I'm not gonna drop everything to go build a huge courthouse in 1894. 1894. 1894 population was what? Let's see. 1891 population, 1889 was 20,000. So let's double it. So it's 45,000. 1894. 45,000 people. Who built this massive structure? And I know I've UIP channel. I think some other YouTubers called construction companies and said, if you were to build this with the current tools, have a brick building, where do they get these materials for that time? Like, where did you get this in 1894? Is there like a brick factory? 1870, the Spokane County was created. 1870, when the first school for Native Americans was open. 1870, 30 years later, took 1 year to build this. 1 year. Okay, -1, because it was supposedly built in 1894. The designs were approved in 1895. They can't even keep their own history straight. It's insane. That's just what I'm saying. It's crazy. A lot of great photos here. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you guys have never researched this whole history of these old buildings, you should. It's mind blowing, and I don't know how they can get away with it. It's obvious that you don't just brick and mortar. Inside is beautiful, wooden structure. It's like, really? Look at that. That's the courthouse. Look at that. Beautiful. Insides, I guess they can do that, but look at that. I mean, no, it's just it's not a castle. It's just a courthouse. It's not a castle. It's a freaking courthouse. That's all. Nothing to see. Nothing to see. This is 1894 construction. Yeah, good luck. Good luck trying to build something like that. What they say 100,000 it probably cost to build it. Ridiculous. And it's still standing. Luckily they didn't burn this one down. Anyway, again, more props to UAP channel. Also the Levi or Levy guy. A lot of just meant John Levy. That's what I'm talking about. Great channel. If you guys never looked into it, definitely look into this. This is what kind of inspired me. I mean, I don't have a great production. I'm just trying this out, but Anyway, look into it. Thanks again. UAP channel, John Levy. Appreciate you guys. Peace.